um, yeah, we should have.
That's okay.
No, not really. But we're working on getting everybody together, so it shouldn't be long.
He puts his head back and kind of stomps his fists in a little bit like a toddler in a tantrum. Just, this just sucks. We're just sitting here doing nothing all the time.
Mark, you know you're an adult, right?
He says, "You're an adult." I mean, yeah, I
That could
know
be
it.
debated.
I'm sorry, what was it, Lee?
I said I think that's up for debate.
Well, you know that there are things you can do. You can go out and you can grow things, or you can fish, or you can go hunting in the woods, or you can talk to people. You can get a. There are things that you can do. Like, be an adult, man.
He's like, whatever. You don't even know. Like, why are you even here?
I'm here because I was checking on you guys. A fight is coming, and we wanted to make sure you guys were okay.
Mm-hmm.
And also Utogoro. I was coming over to check on Utogoro, but I didn't expect you guys to be here. But two birds with
We
one
ate
stone.
him.
You ate him?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What? Fion says for the second time since he's been here.
See, you don't even care.
I mean, I feel like I am going to make a check against that. Like, I instinctually I know that that can't be true, but 18 plus 9 is 27.
You're not quite sure what to make of this. The issue with Maark is he's very difficult to read because it's he's not a good liar, but he also doesn't have what you think is to be a strong grasp on reality. Almost everything he said, everything he's ever said, could be entirely believed or entirely written off.
I'll step back out into the other room. So you guys didn't eat Utagoro, right?
You can see Bartholomew Jameson, who has been peeling vegetables the entire time, goes, "No, he's just in the lake."
Okay. So, like, not become a god to these people or anything. Like, I want to make sure that everything is cool up here.
Captain Morgan says, "Well, I don't think God's the right word, but they seem to like him a lot."
I think mascot is probably more appropriate.
Yeah, Fion was just using one of the most extreme words to set the example of, you know. So there's no, like, danger of him running a militia or anything.
Captain Morgan says, "No, not really a danger, I would say, because I'm pretty sure it's already happened. But yeah,
Well, I mean, that's just a reality we have to accept. I mean, specifically him putting it into action to raid a city, per se.
he says, no, I think he just likes having people to command."
Utogoro is awesome.
He seems like a complicated fish.
So, how have you guys been communicating with him? Just kind of an adapted sign language?
Ricky says, "Oh, we never really communicate with him. He just comes and goes, and we
So,
just kind of get an idea of what he wants based on what he points at, and then that's it."
so he is living here, though.
No, he's just in the lake.
Oh, he just lives in the lake now. Okay.
They shrug.
Well, that's good to know. Thanks for the update, and we should be letting you guys know pretty soon if if things are gonna escalate. And he'll call into the other room. And Jacob should be back soon.
Whatever, dude.
I really, out of character, I really want to just go punch Spark in the throat, but like Fion wouldn't do that. Like, just to wake up call him, you know, like you hold him against the wall, wake the fuck up, you know.
Because we know people that are like this, and we know they're man children, but we don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Well,
We actually work with a guy that's like Maark is just a caricature of him because he's like he actually acts like this.
mm-hmm. Well, Mark's just acting. He's acting out because I mean he doesn't want to. I mean, he misses his friend. That's part of it, and then also he's not home. Like he's not in a great situation. He doesn't like the people. He doesn't like the area. He wants to go home. He wants to hang out with his friends, but he's stuck here basically. So he's just acting out.
I mean, like,
Romance.
Yeah, he misses
yeah,
his bromance.
yeah, okay, fair enough. We'll get him, Jacob.
Oh shit! I just realized we don't have any teleport back, do we?
Nope.
Is Philbin with me?
Sorry, Philbin is in the city of Terrinia. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can find Jacob and send him with you, but I did want you guys to take Jacob with you.
Oh well, if you had said to take him with us, I imagine we would have. I just didn't know that was your intention. Or I had
Yeah, I was
forgotten.
saying that before you guys leave Terrinia, you should gather up all the NPCs that we have in Terrinia and decide who you want to take.
Yeah, actually, that because we would have brought the necromancer with us too. Like, there's no way that we wouldn't have. That was the whole point of her.
Exactly. That's why when Ormus was like, "Well, I'm leaving right now," I was like, "All right, well maybe Fiona and Molly can find the other NPCs and bring them."
That can certainly be something that you all wanted to do. Or, I mean, basically, yeah.
Cool. Um. Ah.
I mean, did you? Would you? I mean, do you want to retcon that where you brought
I
people?
mean, yeah, because it would have kind of defeated the whole point to go without them, especially the necromancer.
Well, again, my understanding is that Lee will be along soon, and also you all wanted to kill the king. But in terms of bringing the necromancer, you who would have gone to even talk to her and bring her?
Me.
Okay. Did you also want to bring? What's his name? Oh man, I can't remember. These names are so difficult with the Dark Elves. Do you also want to bring
Real?
Real?
Yeah.
Yeah, Real.
I think I intended. I thought I did. I thought I went and asked him. Well, I know I went and asked the drow and elf couple,
Yep.
but I wanted to ask him what he wanted to do, and tell Zilra, her,
Mm-hmm.
and tell her that she needed to come with Hope to us because that's where her mission lies.
Okay. Well, they would have come along. And presumably also Jacob?
If we had him around, yeah, teleporters are always great.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
y'all have several uh, rooms essentially that have been set aside in a dormitory that the school has provided for the various individuals that you were sending along.
Awesome.
Also, apologies for having to do all the retconning. This is forgetting
Yeah.
forgetting sessions.
we didn't have time at the end of the last session to go over this as far as I can remember. I don't have any notes on it or anything, but I just don't remember having time to like go over it before you guys left.
Well, I remember us talking about saying that we did need to bring everybody. It was just one of those things that we forgot, and the actual teleporting happened at the beginning of this session. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
that's probably what happened.
So who else would you like to bring?
So, Necromancer, I forget her name.
Zilro.
Zilra. And Real, if he wanted to come, but
He does.
Okay. And Jacob, and I think that's it. Am I wrong on that? I think that's it.
Orin or Thorin or no Orin is
Yeah.
still Thorin. That's it. Is he still in Terrinia?
He is in Terrinia. And you just brought Elefar from Bakata, too.
And
Well,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I would say Elefar and Orin should probably go to Hope because they're not really doing a lot of good in Terrinia.
And the priestess of if she came with Molly, I can't remember.
She did not.
She did not go with Molly.
And I don't think we should tell people to come to Hope because they just don't have anywhere else to be, because there is a potential impending invasion that we gotta be mindful.
Well, remember, I'm saying Orin should go because one, he's a powerful cleric, and two, he's a powerful cleric, and we might need him for the resurrection.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
That's
people,
why we picked him up in the first place.
I think that we shouldn't bring people along who can't defend themselves well.
Well, Real definitely can, and Orin and Elfar should be fine.
Yeah, Orin and Elfar are a package deal, and Orin is a powerful cleric, so...
Yeah, I would agree that we should take him, because if we can't have the priestess of Shia, was it?
Sheila?
Sheila. If we can't have her, then Orin is going to be the next best thing to help out with the necromancer. Which I don't think we would say to him, but you know.
Cleric, he's got resurrection and shit, so... Or
Yeah.
he's got healing magic or whatever. I don't know the extent exactly, but...
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is the entire reason we picked him up in the first place, so...
Yeah, at the very least, it would be nice to have him there. Just in case. So that list would be Orin, /Torin, Elefar, Real, and
Zilra.
Zilra. Zilra. I need to write that down because I cannot remember her name to save my fucking life.
I know it takes me a little bit to remember those. Because they're you guys haven't interacted very much, but yeah, Real and Zilra. And also Jacob, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Yes.
How about Philbin?
Nah, I think we would leave him to do what he's doing around the city.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we would bring him because, again, somebody who can use teleportation is useful for sure.
Well, Jacob
We've
can
got
teleport.
Jacob.
Yeah, but they can only each do it once a day.
Well, I want Philbin for helping with research and Bee Gilder.
Yeah, we also have teleport circles in Terrinia, so we'd be fine. He wouldn't have to use his to get us there, so he'd still have his.
Correct. Jacob still has his. Alright, so that whole list also go. Where would you have sent them or put them around the city? What would you tell them to do?
Well, I would imagine Real and Zilra would be left with Bahamut / Mikka, and now I can't remember her name.
Arini?
Arini.
Mika and Aridi?
By the way, I actually have an idea for how we could retcon it.
Mm-hmm.
What if after they all left and Lee was handing out assignments, he actually just saw the group of all these NPCs still walking around?
Yeah, like, what?
Facepalm, and,
Good,
like,
you gotta go. You gotta
Yeah,
get,
it's like
get
they
to
were
the
supposed to pick
teleporter.
you up. They were supposed to pick you up before they left, but I guess they didn't. So
Like,
you didn't show up.
We thought that we were gonna meet at the teleporter, and they thought we were gonna pick them up at the teleporter, or pick them up before going
That's
to
the
the
thing, is
teleporter.
you guys didn't go and talk to them at all. So Lee's just like, yeah, okay, you guys go and do this, and that's like you're like in the shell with the soldiers, you know, and Jacob just walks in.
Maark, guess what?
What?
And then I nod at Jacob, just to have him, you know, to give him a visual cue of, hey, say something.
Jacob looks at you.
Say something to him.
Mark's like, that's not funny, calling out to somebody and like making them just sit there and do nothing.
Damn it, Jacob's here.
What? And you hear thump, 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 thump as he basically runs out, and they make a very hearty, strong bromance embrace.
A heartfelt reunion.
And
There's jumping up and down.
starts to play.
Huh?
Here Without You starts to play.
Ricky Forrester gets into it, and then it just turns into a group hug, just bouncing up and down.
It's
The whole
so
cabin shakes.
Alright, well, I imagine, Jacob, you want to hang out a little
There's
bit.
a glass of wine beside the king that begins to ripple.
Well, since I've done all my checking up on you guys, Jacob, I imagine you'd want to catch up a little bit, so I'll leave you to that. I'll go catch up with Mikka and Oromis.
Alright, bye. And they all wave, bye, bye, bye. Still be on.
Oh, well,
As you go out, because as you came in, you were looking at the structure, and you got into the structure. But as you leave now, you see that it has a great view of the lake, and you can see out in the middle of the lake, standing on top of some sort of a post, is Utogoro, like in a kung fu pose, with one foot on it, like a pose of the crane, while the rest of his body is sitting seemingly serene.
Fion takes a mental image, takes a mental picture. And
Yeah.
he'll wave, but if Utogoro doesn't notice him, he's not gonna make a big deal out of it.
There's no response. It may as well be a statue.
Yeah, that's what I figured. It was kind of a meditative thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I will make my way back to where I left Molly and Oromis. Which I don't know if they've already headed out, but
Indeed. So, Molly Normus,
Yeah.
are y'all going to go talk to the queen or something else?
Oromis?
If you have anything better in mind, I am all for whatever you decide.
Where are you guys right now anyway? You're still at the cabin with Serini?
That's a good question. I figured we would wander out and find somewhere to stay. Because
Probably
do we
talk
have
and discuss what we're gonna do.
'Cause there's a lot more NPCs that you can tell where to go that may have just showed up in the street. Like there's a bunch of drow in the street.
Don't give me that power.
Yeah, there's a couple of drow there, including one, a now exiled former commander, who's, you think he's got a pair of pants wrapped around his head, but yeah.
Very fashionable.
Mm-hmm. And the other, a much shorter, that you know to be necromancer, a woman with a sort of a, almost looks like a hag's cowl. She looks very out of place. Both of them do, in fact, on the bright, wintry streets of Hope.
Which makes him look like the sky.
Warren probably already knows where to go. He may have led them there. I don't know.
I think we should introduce Zilra to Mikka.
Certainly.
I would agree, but I'm not there. I imagine I'm not there yet, so.
Mm-hmm. How do you introduce Zora and Mika?
Before we go in, I'm going to turn to Zilra and say, okay, so the situation is he's not fully dead yet. His body is dead, his soul is just contained. So we need to remake his body so that way we can revive him. So, by the
She
way,
nods along.
well, her, I guess, her body. I'm not sure. I turn to Ormus. How much should we tell her?
The necromancer? I mean,
Yeah.
she's gonna be the one performing it. Actually, she would have been with us with Bahamut, right? If
No, we're having it that they showed up late.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, actually, worst case, we can go bring him to him now, and she can get the scoop from Bahamut if need be.
well, I said I pulled her aside outside of. Well,
Mhm.
I said I was outside, but I'm outside of Bahamut and Irini's house.
Mm-hmm.
Give her the down low. Okay, so the thing
Well,
is,
determine. You're by them yourself, right? Like you didn't pull me along either.
if you wanted to come, you could have.
Yeah, I probably would have. Well, since I was able to determine that it was, shit, what was it, magic jar? I'd at least give her that information.
Mm-hmm. She nods and she says, "Yes, I have several magic jars.
Okay,
They
well,
keep things very fresh, especially organs."
I'm talking about the spell to contain a soul.
Ah, interesting.
this is Bahamut, by the way, that we're going to be having you resurrect.
She nods and she says, "I don't care much for names, but sure."
Well,
You will when you see him.
you know who Bahamut is, right?
Him?
That's a no.
Or with the big fellow with the beard?
No, Bahamut is long to be thought dead dragon god.
She
He
nods.
Tiamat's brother? Is that right?
That
Yeah.
is correct.
Do you know who Tiamat is?
She goes, "Is he the one that looks like a dwarf?"
No, she is also a dragon kind of god person.
Ah, no, I don't know them.
Evil, chaotic dragon goddess, multiple heads.
Do you know who?
Actually, just one head.
Do you know who
I
Asgaroth
thought Tiamat
is?
had multiple heads.
Not this
It's the
incarnation.
canonical one, but not here. You were saying, Mollymort?
I'm asking her if she knows who Asgaroth is.
Asgaroth.
Also a dragon god.
No, probably not then. I don't know many gods.
Okay, well they're thought to like Yonder, this is correct that they're thought to have like created the world, right?
Not that they had created the world, but that they're the ones that taught magic to the various people. That, I mean, the world was already here, and they came from it. They're the source of dragons, and they are, while not the source of magic, they're the ones that taught magic. Oh, and also the root of all evil in the corner of Tiamat. Like she's supposedly, like all bad things have. She was the source. Like in terms of the family tree, she is the seed from which all terrible things have ever sprouted. Which probably isn't true. It's just an exaggeration.
Okay, so these are creatures. I forget how old Bahamut is, but they're old enough that
You don't even know.
it's old enough that it's thought that these dragons were the ones that taught, you know, us littler folks, gnomes, humans, goblins, whatever, magic. And
She goes, "Oh, that's fascinating. My grandmother taught me."
no, I mean all of us originally. Like nobody knew magic, and then they came along. You
Oh,
really should. I don't know how. Underdark is really not informed on these things, huh?
you're talking to, Zora, like asking her if she's not very informed.
Yeah.
And she says, "Well, I enjoy my work and I'm good at it." She shrugs and she says, "I'm quite good at making fields of undead." I bet you're not very informed on that.
I am not, but this is like
If you judge a zombie by its ability to survive cold, then we're all bad zombies.
Well, I'm talking about this is history on the like history on like the origin of magic and the world. And since you're a magic practitioner, I thought you'd know some of its history.
She says, "Well, forgive me. I've been living my entire life under rocks."
Literally.
Literally.
Okay,
Got
so
you there.
pardon me. Do you want to go visit a library? We could have a study session on this before we actually visit Bahamut.
She says, "Must we?"
We don't have to, but he's kind of a big deal, and I thought it would be good for you to understand like who he is.
Uh, she nods and says, "If that's what's important for you, then we can understand what he was before I convince him to come back to life, I guess." Well, not so much convince, they don't have a choice.
Well, I guess it's not really that important. Well, in this situation. But we should go do that after we talk to him, okay? Oh, by the way, he is currently using a woman named Mika as a vessel.
Okay.
So that's how
Like
I'll.
wearing her skin?
No, like his soul kind of was not in his body.
Ah,
Put it in her body.
he's he's possessing her. Got it.
Yeah.
Hey, we found mutual ground.
Yeah, she nods.
All right. E- So now that you got some information on what's going on, do you want to go meet them?
Uh, she shrugs and nods. Says, "Sure, that's
Okay.
fine."
I lead her in.
She comes in. She's looking around the room. Mika looks over her shoulder and is looking at you and this new guest.
Hey, Mika, this is the necromancer that we were hoping could help you out.
She stands up and reaches out a hand to shake Zora's hand, and Zora takes her hand and smells it. She says, "Doesn't smell dead." "Oh, that's right. You're the one that's being possessed." And she smiles, and Mika nods slowly and says, "Yes, I am possessing this form." And Zora says, "So, what kind of body would you like? And what's around?" She kind of rubs her hands together and looks around the room. Mika looks at you, Mollymort.
I apologize. She does not know your history to
We
fully
tried.
understand.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say is we tried.
Yeah. Mika says that, Bahamut rather says that I would prefer the body of a dragon god. And Zora says, "Well, that should be easy if we can find or make
Yeah,
one." She shrugs.
we know where the rest of his corpse is, right? Bahamut can show us.
You have a rough idea, yes. Somewhere out in a deep desert, or what is now a desert.
Oh yeah, well we'll just take her there sometime. Road trip.
I look, Mika. So, where's the heart? The heart is like in the castle, right?
It
Where's the heart?
should it should still be in the basement of the castle. Yes.
Gosh, so much has been going on. I am sorry. It's hard to remember some things.
It's fine.
But yeah, Zilra, we have his heart. It's been kind of turned to stone, but I have greater restoration, so I'm not sure if that would be helpful. And we are trying to use that hopefully. Do you want to have a look at that to see what you can do with it?
She says, she nods and says, "Yes, yes." It's not
Um,
usually a lot that one can do with just the heart, but I can take a look.
well, the heart and also just the fact that the heart is fossilized seems to be troublesome. So we're just hoping you can do something with that.
She nods and says, "I'm certainly willing to try."
I like your attitude. Also,
Can
we're not
do.
We're not
What-
supposed to. Okay.
Go on. Sorry, go on.
We're not supposed to be like seen that much in the castle because, well, we kind of have our own secret entrance. So try to be on the down low.
Zora nods and says, I am always low. Not as low as you, of course. And she looks down at you.
I was hoping you would not make that joke. Gosh.
If I had a copper every time I heard that.
For sure, yeah. But try to be inconspicuous is what I mean.
She nods and she pulls the hood of the very creepy witch cloak around her a little bit tighter.
Yeah, that might help a little bit. Okay. Let's just get going, okay?
Okay. You can recall that, as I said, there are two large cylindrical castles that were built here by the first King of Hope to keep his family safe as it grew bigger and bigger and bigger. Currently, the royal family sort of is housed within one of these castles, while the other remains almost entirely empty. And there is a passage that connects them both underground. In the center is a sort of survival bunker. And down there is where the stone heart has been stored. You know how to access the secret stairways that lead to this underground chamber from both buildings. So you can get there from whichever way. You also know that you can use this to secretly get within the palace at night and without being known or seen, potentially.
I guess we probably should wait until night for this. By the way, what race is Zilra again? I forget.
Oh no, she's a drow, isn't she?
She is drow.
So yeah, it would probably be better to do this at night anyways. So, you want to hang out for a bit anyways?
She nods and says, "Yes, I would love to." And Mika's eyes go a little wider, and she says, very politically, "Yes, do be our guest."
I was kind of thinking of heading out and going to the library because, sorry, Mika, but she does not know about you really. So I was thinking I would do a little study session with her.
She needs to
Um,
be educated.
Both of them nod.
Awesome. Let's go. Let's go check out some books.
All right. So I guess Mollymort, you and Zora go try to find a library.
Yep.
Okay. Oromis, what are you doing in this time? I know you just yourself, but I'll give you a couple seconds.
I'd probably trying to figure out a time frame from. Man, I'm terrible with names too. The Handmaiden of the Queen to see if there's a time
Arini.
that he possibly gets. Arini, yes. To see if there's a possible time that he gets drunk enough to where an accident could happen.
And you ask this of her, the sort of right hand to Bahamut in the home of Bahamut.
No. God no. But she's in on it too, isn't she?
She is probably not. Well,
Oh, okay.
you could ask her. You're not
I wasn't
actually sure
she was.
if she is more loyal to Bahamut or if she is more loyal to the Queen. You suspect probably Bahamut.
Yeah. No, never mind. Shit, I wouldn't really know who to ask other than the queen herself, and she's probably Beige.
Any guard?
Yeah, Utogoro would definitely know.
Utogoro, what?
Isn't that what you said?
No, it is definitely not. I said any of his guards.
Ah. Yeah, you could ask the guards.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that
sure
one
there are
is
some guards that you know are on the Queen's side that are in on this? Do you remember any
I'm
of
just
the
trying
ones that
to.
are in on
I'm
You
just
could
trying to
be-
limit my exposure to people before
You
this goes
remember-
down. That way,
You remember having tiffs with Panny on multiple occasions, and guards responding as Panny said to escort you out, and they seem to. You've never met a guard that you are sure is on the Queen's side.
Didn't she have a proxy of some sort?
There was a fellow that gave you the letter of introduction, but he gave it to you in Terrinia, so he's probably on that particular side. But beyond that, you have basically only been dealing with the Queen on this issue, but also the Queen's uncle, or excuse me, the King's uncle. You spoke with him about it. I don't think there was anyone else about
Yeah,
this.
fuck it. Do it. Stab him, stab him. Wait, are we talking about Panny or the King? You know what? Fuck it, both.
I was gonna say I'm all for Pandy anyway. He was probably gonna be my next Mark.
I would be so down for an
So,
We'll all get a stab in.
Lee, in the city of Terrinia, you, with your gaggle of researchers, you flash your badge, your golden laminate, and you pass through the doors of the Museum of Nautical Construction.
I yell onward to victory as I go through the gate and then have to stop and show my pass.
Yes, you've got to show your pass. Onward to victory! Then you show it, and they verify, and then they say, "Are they all coming in?" And
Yes, they're with me.
okay, and they pull out the stamp and begin stamping every single one of their hands. One
The
at a
entire
time.
time I'm leading a fist pump in the area, the whole like, yeah, trying to keep them energized.
No one is energized, and you you just continue to do this as all of their hands are stamped with a sort of pattern of a steering wheel of a ship and a couple of other things, and
That-
eventually they are all ready.
Can I at least make like some sort of check to like see if I can get any of them into it?
Sure, let's go with maybe a persuasion or performance.
Okay. I don't think I have proficiency in that, so it'll be a flat roll, or not a flat roll, but I think it'll be like a +3 maybe.
Let's see how you do.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's a 7. Do any of them at all like get into it?
No, not any of them.
Damn, my paladin influence isn't affecting them.
Yeah, you suspect that the power of Philbin was what compelled the previous successes. And this here, your own charisma does not float it. But
man,
they get their hands stamped, and they seem all ready to follow you further.
all right, time to do some research.
All right.
You-
Which direction do you head? Where do you go? What are you looking for?
Well, I guess I'm gonna go to the net exhibit first.
There is not a net exhibit, but there is a great claw exhibit. Is that what you meant?
Oh yeah, that is actually what I meant.
All right.
My bad.
Just making sure. But yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
able.
I tried to trick you, but you got me. No, I'm just kidding.
I know,
I
right?
misspoke.
Having been here several times before, you almost getting to the point where you get a free Great Claw T-shirt by showing up so many times. You were able to go to this exhibit again, flanked by an entire gaggle of a very diverse group of researchers.
You know, one of the prerequisites I should have required for anybody working on this project is that they were already wearing one of those Great Claw T-shirts.
It's unfortunate that you've come so far. So,
Are any of them wearing one?
not a single one.
Oh my god! What have I done?
You've actually never seen anyone wear a Great Claw t-shirt. But
If we get one, Philbin's wearing it, right?
I mean, you can try to convince them. We'll see. But
It was pretty style.
no, not really. Doesn't fit his style. But you can get there with your research assistance and be within the exhibit to Great Claw with this giant animatronic lobster slowly moving, floating in the room above you.
Okay. And then I look at all the nerds and I say, now what?
They look at you and say, "You don't know?"
Well, I know we need to figure out where the net is that caught this thing.
You
We
can
know
see
where it was caught.
you
and
can
we
see
know
one or
where,
two
right?
break off to begin to read things. Go on.
We know. Oh, go ahead.
No, go on. I was saying go on.
We know where it was caught, by the plaque, and we know when it was caught, right?
Yes.
Well, we need to try to narrow down where and what was used to catch it.
Okay.
And if we can locate that now, because we're looking for whatever caught that thing.
They nod and they disperse throughout the room to read the, frankly, very few pieces of information that are available to them. But yeah, they come back and they say that it was caught by a fisherman named Aiden Marsden in a city called Tade Morden, we think. And that's on the west coast of the White Sea. And it was caught 6 years ago. And it doesn't say anything else, but it says that Great Claw was donated by him.
If it was only 6 years ago, it's probably still in the same place. So we need to. So I just need to go to this Tased and Martin, right?
Tade Morden. Tade Morden. The pronunciation is a bit Elvish.
Dwarvish.
Uh,
Oh,
no,
okay.
Elvish. And the elf says, and also from the spelling of the name, most likely the donator is also an elf. It's in Elvish.
All right. Whoever brings me this information first, I'm gonna give a piece of candy, and they're like, "All right, what else do you want? You get a special prize because you brought me the information first."
They all immediately whip out their sheet that requires so many hours spent researching topics, and they all just hold them out wanting signatures.
I shrug and just start signing them off.
Okay, you begin to just start signing them off, and as soon as you sign them, they just walk, just one by one.
Famous. People want his autograph.
Yeah.
Something like that.
They are aiding in the defeat of a dragon god, so I feel like it's fair to give them credit for that.
Mm-hmm. You soon find yourself completely alone in the Great Claw exhibit. Would you like to do anything with this information?
Or can you remind me the name of the place?
Sir, the name of the place is Ted Morden.
I thought that was the name of the guy.
No, that's the name of the place.
Oh,
Dang it.
what was the name of the guy? Because I have Ted Morden as the guy.
Okay, the name of the place is Aiden Marsden. So Aiden Marsden, spelled exactly how it sounds: AAYDEN MAARSDEN. It is Elvish.
He's not the person that caught it. He's the place. That's the place.
No, that's the name that's associated with it. That's the only name.
Okay.
Like he's the person that basically got Great Claw. The story of Great Claw, as it says, is that Great Claw, it had actually like saved the town for some time, and it was sort of a mascot. But at some point, it died and was brought here. And the name Aiden Marsden is associated with the name of essentially the person that kind of donated Great Claw.
Good enough. I guess let's go to that town. Yeah, you know what? I'll take it to the teleporter and be like, here, can you take me here?
Okay.
The teleporter is also confused of which one is the name of the place and which one is the name of the guy that donated it.
Wait, isn't? Oh no, sorry, never mind me. I got confused for a second. I was gonna ask, isn't Aladrin with you? But
Nope, Aladrin is on a ship.
yeah, I remembered that about as soon as I was gonna ask it.
Yeah. But yeah, you can certainly head to the teleport. Do you want to go here? He's pointing to the one that says Aiden Marsden.
Yeah, but wait, I need to bring my friend Philbin with me because he's the only way I can get back.
He nods.
I call out into the street. I say, Philbin, hooray! Wait, that's not right. Hey Philbin, come here.
Nope.
Just
Where
open
is
a bottle of wine. He'll come running.
Where is Philbin right now? I don't actually know.
You don't know.
All right. I open a bottle of wine.
All right. You succeed.
Do
It's very easy.
Are you sure you don't want me to make an intelligence check?
No, I mean you know your bottle of wine. It's not difficult. In fact, this is a very progressive town. Any bottle that you acquire, it's probably got a twist top.
Nice.
I mean, it might take you like 2 tries to figure out Lefty Lucy, but you're no problem.
That is accurate. I don't know my left from my right, so.
But yeah,
you know, in real life.
But you do not know where Philbin is. Would you like to try and go find Philbin?
I say, just a minute. I forgot Philbin. And yeah, I run out and start looking for Philbin.
Okay. Anywhere in particular you're looking, or are you just gonna everywhere?
I enlist help from college students again.
You just immediately just call out, credits for anyone that can help me find a dwarf. Anything specific?
I mean, technically, it is research related.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. You wouldn't know what that is, but he's also wearing chainmail, a Speedo, and is riding a giant lobster.
Right.
The great and powerful Philbin. And I actually I actually showed them an artistic rendition of Philbin from the Philbish Bible.
Okay. Yeah, they study it a moment, and you could see them just sort of rushing off into all directions, swarming through the city in the search for cheap and easy credits.
That was highly efficient.
Yes. Yes. Taking advantage of cheap labor frequently is.
I don't think I actually have the ability to give them credits though.
You don't.
Yeah, so all of these credits that they're getting are useless.
Well, that's their problem. And also, too, is Lee probably, I don't know if he really understands that either.
Definitely does not.
Exactly.
He's giving what they want, but he doesn't know.
Speaking of research, let's see. Fion, you would be getting back at least at some point.
Yeah.
But, yeah. What would you like to do having come back and that, you've got one drow assassin-like fellow here just having tea with Irini, which, whatever. Torin and Elifar seem to have walked off to who knows where.
I mean, we're waiting, and I would catch up with Molly and Oromis and see what the deal is while we're waiting around, and after them telling Which I assume they just tell me we're waiting for nightfall.
I'm not with Ormus. I'm with Zilra doing some laid back studying.
Or attempting to, but we'll get back to that. Ormus, where would you be hanging out? Would you be at Irini's house?
Well, does she have any books?
Nope.
Damn.
I mean, not really. I mean, there's like a book or two, but not really. Nothing really interesting.
Damn. Ah, shit. No, I just pretty much be waiting till nighttime. Doing that
Okay,
whole
just
Skyrim rest 7 hour thing.
just at Irini's house, just chilling, probably having scones and tea.
Ooh, scones, yum. Sure,
Mhm.
that sounds like a pleasant time.
You could brainstorm.
But yeah,
What?
Fion, you walk in and discover, Oromis, Real, and Irini having tea.
It's funny, I didn't realize until recently that we actually were able to quote unquote recruit the assassin that we got the bow from.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, you did exile him, and there's a particular condition that involves him coming back, A, with the bow, and B, essentially coming back as a hero and a champion to get his status.
Works out for us.
Yeah. So anyway, what would you like to do, Fion, having walked into this?
I will see that everyone's waiting around, pull out my, tattooing kit and start putting shit into it, and then take a short rest afterwards. If it's possible, because if we're gonna head out too soon, then that's fine.
Oh, you certainly have time.
Okay,
You
yeah.
came here pretty early in the morning, so.
I'd actually probably start picking Rail's mind since he is an assassin of how we would do something like this and make it an accident, and if my plan would seem doable and viable in his book.
Yeah, basically, as you sort of describe it a little bit, he says, well, could you perhaps climb up onto the ceiling and crack a stalactite and have it crash down onto his hut?
Well, that would be viable if if there were stalagmites in there. But
Ah,
I'll describe his room if I can.
okay. So as Ormus goes over, well, I mean, are you still doing this with Arini and with Bahamut in
No.
earshot? Okay.
No.
All right. Well, do you take him somewhere to have these conversations?
Do we know of anywhere secluded? That's the thing.
You could always go down to the beach.
I'd probably take him for a walk out of the city, maybe.
Mm-hmm. You can walk around the city a bit. Yeah, it's a fairly large city.
No, not the city. Outside of the city.
Outside of this city, yes. Well,
Past the gates and everything.
you know that there's a lake to the south, and there's some woods around. You took the road in from the north. In terms of what's around the city, you know that there are different layers of walls that were built over time that are subsequently larger. And but basically, yeah, there's places that you can go to be alone with someone else, if that makes
Sweet.
sense.
Late then. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You start heading down towards the line. So, Mollymort,
Oh,
you've got Zilra. In terms of schooling, you know that there were a couple of schools, including where you ran into the alchemists and some other things. You don't know where a library.
I forget, are Walter and Jesse in Hope?
Walter and Jesse are in Hope. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go check out with them.
All right. You walk in, and Walter is on what appears to be you as a player would recognize this as a stationary bicycle, and it seems to be attached to uh, through gearings and various pulleys with some sort of an odd spinning sections of rings that are just very quickly moving around each other. And you can see Jesse is like putting his hand towards it and being shocked with static electricity, and his hair is standing straight up. And Walter is giving a lesson on how that it's possible to disrupt the currents of the universe and generate lightning without magic.
Mollymore is immediately entranced by this concept.
Mm-hmm.
Like, doesn't pay much attention as she just grabs Zilra and pulls her in a seat to sit and listen to this lecture.
Zilra sits and also listens, and you can see quite a few of the other individuals come up and go up and carefully put their hands towards this giant orb that it looks like lightning is just streaking from their fingertips, and they just kind of they pull back usually at first, but then they usually put their hand forward again, and they're just ooh, tingles. Their hair goes up. But he goes on to say that the elements are all around us and that the universe is made of these elements, all parts of it, and that magic helps you control and manipulate and change them, but the elements are all there and you can work with the elements and you can sometimes talk to them and you can make them to do all kinds of cool stuff. But in the end, these basic four elements are always going to be what everything is made of in the entire universe, and they all work together in harmony. And he says that there are shapes associated with all of these different elements.
I thought in D&D there were 6 elements.
Well, you should maybe talk to him then.
Okay.
He insists that there are 4.
I'm assuming he's talking about the alchemical elements.
Basically, you can. Do you want to?
I'm not there, but
exactly.
I'm just thinking. No, I'm just like thinking about it out loud. Like I honestly don't know all the lore on it. There's like positive and negative energy in D&D too, though, right?
Essentially, yes. I mean, there in terms of D&D, there are different elements that are involved, and then there's sort of positive and negative in a sense that one would be considered kind of radiance, and then the other necrotic kind of energy, where there is a sort of there's like a and again it's difficult because it's like 7-dimensional, where there is a positive thing and then a negative thing, but our language is limited on how we describe those things.
I think I kind of, well, I guess technically, since those are energies that can imbue anything, they're not really like what things are made of. So I guess it would still be correct to say that everything is made of 4 elements.
Correct.
That's neat. I like that. Okay, I'll go back to being a good quiet boy.
Yeah. So the instructor, Walter, he pulls out a box and he opens it, and it's got carefully carved stones inside. And he says, these are representations of the elements. In their natural form, they are of these. And they're the base platonic solids. And he holds up this one, a tetrahedron, what we would know as a D4. And he says, this is the shape of the spirit of fire. And he puts it down and he picks up a cube, a D6, and he says, this is the shape of the spirit of, and he points around the class, like asking if they know what it is.
I raise my hand and call, is it Aaron? Is that's one of them, right? I haven't caught the whole letter.
And he nods and he says, yes, it is Earth, Molly Mort. Don't think I didn't notice you coming in.
Beams. She's so proud of herself.
And he picks up an octahedron and he holds it up and he looks around for anyone else. And someone raises their hand and says, Earth? Or excuse me, air? And he nods and he says, yes, it is air. And then he picks up the icosahedron, the D20, and he says, "In this one is," and he guesses,
Water?
"Water." Exactly, so smart. And then one of the students raises her hand and says, "Professor?" And he goes, "Yes." And they, they say, "If there are 4 elements, what is that one for?" And he looks at the dodecahedron, what we would know as the 12, and he says, "We don't know. Probably nothing." And he just closes the box really quick and throws it into the corner.
It's crazy, yo. How does he know which ones correspond to which element?
Well, he's a scientist.
Oh, okay. Enough said.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, that is, anyway, but yeah, he says those things. And he says that these shapes can be used to harness and control these elements because that is, at the root of it, what they are. And he nods, and everyone's very impressed. He
You
gets
said
off the stationary bike.
D8 is for air. Interesting.
No, he said that well, yes, the D8 is for air, the D20 is for water, the D6 is for earth, and the D4 is for, and the
You know,
D12 is for nothing.
I kind of like that because Lee just uses D8s, and I like to flavor his attacks as being concussive blasts. So that's kind of cool, kind of thundery, kind of air.
I know, it is cool, right?
That makes me very happy.
But yeah, you've got fire, air, earth, and water right there. So, but
the D4 was fire and the D6 was earth, right?
correct. The D4 is fire, the D6 is earth, the D8 is air, and the D20 is water. Of course, he referred to them as the tetrahedron, octahedron, hexahedron, and icosahedron.
Yeah, but I'm stupid.
And he rejected the existence of the dodecahedron, despite the fact that he had one.
Aldrin is not going to be happy about that.
Well,
Because
see.
of,
I think it's
because
the
also there's no D10.
well, the D10 isn't a platonic solid. It's an icosa, or trying to remember. It's like a paired icosahedron. I can't remember the exact technical term for the D10, but it's not technically a platonic solid. It's not a perfect shape.
Okay.
Yeah, the D4, the D8, the D6, the D20, and the D12 are all perfect geometric shapes.
I think Aldrin would agree with it being a perfect shape, but it definitely needs an element. It's the element of rage because of Aldrin.
But yeah. Anyway, he gives that lecture.
Yeah, I take notes, and other than, trying to, have some input, I do sit quietly until his lesson ends. And then when he is done, I pick up my notes, stuff them in my hat, and take Zilra's hand and bring her along to approach him.
All right. He seems to be kind of cleaning up what was likely to be. We as players would recognize this immediately. What he is cleaning up as um, some sort of a science fair volcano, essentially. But you imagine that the first part of the class was very messy.
I'll bet Lee made one of those.
It's possible, but
It's
yeah,
because he's a
they are.
nerd.
He and Jesse are kind of cleaning things up a little bit, and when he sees you coming over, Walter will come over as well and say, "Pleasure to see you again."
Hi, good to see you. I was glad for an excuse to visit, and I take it upon myself to help clean up.
You can see that Zilra also sort of cleans up. not really. Like she kind of pushes things around, but nothing actually really gets too much cleaner. She just moves it.
That's okay. She's participating.
Yeah.
Hi. This is my friend Zilra. She is a drow, necromancer. By the way, that was a really cool lecture. I wish I could come here more often and like actually learn things without just, figuring them out on my own and just doing spells. Anyways, you guys have a library around here, right?
He says that there are some. Yes.
All right, we need information on Bahamut because she is from the Underdark and doesn't know
He
about those sorts of things.
he just scoffs. Ha! Ah, those old fairy tales. Well, there's plenty of dragonborn around that'll be happy to tell you the story, or a couple of libraries that might have it.
Well, I was looking more for a library type thing.
And he nods and he says, "I'm sure they have fairy tales and all kinds of things." He laughs.
I bite my tongue and ask him, do you think you could like give us some guidance onto where that might be?
Sure, sure. And he steps outside and he kind of gives you rough directions on how to get through a couple of the other buildings of the various kind of schools that they have available here. And he informs you that there's a library in that particular direction. Can't miss it. It's a big, boring building.
All right, great. Well, I'll try to visit you guys more often. By the way, thanks again for all the oil. I am gonna be sure to use it soon.
They say, "Well, thank you for all of the ingredients. We've been using them quite a bit."
Great. I was also wondering if you guys needed any kind of like donations to the school. Like, I figured I couldn't do that, so I might as well try.
He shrugs and he says, "Well, these classes can be expensive, and the city doesn't pay too well, with the budget being what it is. But yeah, any donations would always don't want to put you out, of course."
Oh no, it's fine. I wasn't sure if like I should donate money or if there was supplies I could donate, cause like I have unusual stuff at hand.
He says, "Well, if it's especially interesting and unusual, then we can teach about it. But beyond that, money is usually very helpful."
All right, I'll keep that in mind. Hold on one sec. And I am going to start like going through my stuff, my hat, just looking for something that they might, have used.
Okay. Uh, Anything in particular that you think that would be interesting to them?
I am looking through my inventory right now.
You got a full hat.
My hat is very full.
The more times it's said, the more times it sounds like an innuendo.
I know, right?
I pull out various unusual things like the compact mirror that I have rotting bits of that animal creature from when we had to cross that river. I just put that back away and try to not pay any mind for that.
Yeah,
I
you just start pulling out various things, and he's like, "Oh, a mirror, interesting." Then he pulls out something else, and he points at a hand, and then immediately retracts it as he sees what it is.
I
uh
must know where this logic comes from. I'm just so freaking curious about it.
you want the mirror? You can totally have that. I don't really have anything that I can huh. Hmm.
He says, "Mirrors are always useful. They certainly don't hurt.
Huh.
I don't
Huh.
mean to take you all day, of course. I don't know what else you've got in there. You can always come back another time. We're here pretty much constantly."
You guys need to get out more.
They say that we get out quite a bit, actually,
Okay, that's good.
for field trips, mostly.
Fun. No, I'm sorry. I don't have anything particular. Huh. Well, I do have this stone, and I pull out my moon glow stone. It came from somebody who I think was a goddess from another plane of existence.
Wow, you actually pull that one out? They're very fascinated by it, and Walter gets some tweezers and holds them and brings them close and holds up a kind of a loop to his eye and looks at it and he says, "It's fascinating. How does it glow?"
Magic. She was a moon goddess, so I just
What
call it my moon glow stone.
what element is this?
Heck if I know.
They they look disturbed.
You wanna? I would like to have it back eventually, but would you like to borrow it to check it out?
Oh
You
yes,
seem
we would.
fascinated.
They nod, and Walter says, "Yes, I would very much like to study this. This is very fascinating."
Great. I hand it over. Just mark it down as being mine, please. I do want to get it back. It was
Of
from.
course, of course.
It does mean a lot to me, as well as being, like I said, from what I think to be a goddess of the moon from another realm. So,
We will be very careful and take care of it.
uh,
And I hate to interrupt. I gotta use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
all right. So, how you guys doing?
A little sleepy, but it's my own fault.
Deja vu.
Yeah, I've been
Been to
watching.
this place before.
Been watching Legion on Hulu. If anybody's been into that,
I have not.
pretty good. It's weird and it's hard to follow, but once you understand why it's hard to follow, it's easier to follow. But it's still hard to follow.
I understand that all too well.
Ah, fuck. I should probably chill it with the cursing because I just realized that I drop the f bomb every time that I yawn. Practically.
That's not habit.
Well, like I have so many habits that I wish I could kick. Like and it was almost 3 years ago. Well, no, it was 3 years ago now. Almost 4 years ago. I when I broke my fucking leg, I still kick it all the way out when I bend over for things because I'm used to it being in a boot.
Wow, okay.
And it was only in a boot for like 3 months. But
While their denial of the existence of the dragon gods irked me a little bit, I am fascinated to hear Walter and Jesse's theories about the workings of the world.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're certain the world is funded. The world goes round because of all that blue stuff.
All right. Sorry about that. Got a drink as well. All settled in. Let's see here. Orma's still not back. That's fine. So, after your visit to the Nautical Museum after you were at the teleporter for quite some time, Lee. You wait, but soon enough, there is a streak in the sky, and some students call out, "Is that a bird? Is that some sort of a large, giant flying lobster?" Another one says, "No, it's the dwarf that guy wanted." Andy circles around and comes down, and Philbin arrives in front of you as a bunch of grad students say, "I found him! No, I found him! I found him! I found him! I found him!" And Philbin says, "Stop it! This one found me." And he holds out a sheet for you to sign.
I signed it.
After you sign it, Philbin just tosses it on the ground and says, "They'll find it, I guess." So are we leaving?
I love the
Yeah.
implication that Philbin was just like without him, the student even asking, he was like, "Okay, give me your research sheet," and just flew off with it.
Something along those lines. But yeah, he says, "So where's everyone else?"
I don't
Welcome
understand.
back.
Where's
Philbin,
everyone else?
Philbin
he
says,
asked
"Is it just us going?"
Yeah, I say, yeah, I'm hoping this isn't going to be a big deal, and they're all already in hope.
Oh, okay. He nods. Says, "Hey, that's fine. Philbin and Lee on a worldwide adventure."
Yeah.
He gets off of the lobster and pats you on the back.
Yeah, I've got my goat, he's got his lobster, and we're on our way to a sleepy little fishing village, hopefully.
Yes. You all walk in and show your credentials, and you're able to get onto the teleporter. And the fellow says, "I'm looking at the map. Is there a town that's larger, or do you have something from here that I can teleport you with? I don't. Yeah, it's not on the menu, bro."
Is there anywhere nearby that we could like locate it on a map, somewhere where we could either walk or fly there quickly?
In terms of being close to it, in terms of quickly, there's not a lot. There's another port that's basically at the southern edge of the long road, essentially Silver City, that's on the coast of the not Silver City, but basically at the end of the White Road, or the Long Road, excuse me, on the coast of the White Sea, south of Bacata. But that is probably a long way. If this is where you think it is, yeah, it's kind of a long way.
All right.
You can get maybe close, but there's not a lot. It seems like most of the areas that are available for teleport are some of the bigger places, but this is pretty empty for a long way around. There is one that's really far to the west, and that he says is used a lot, but it's not too close to the White Sea, but it's something.
Uh, I say, hold on a minute again. I I say I'm gonna bring Philbin over here, and I'm gonna talk to him about this because I just kind of am just like, yeah, let's go over here, and I didn't really explain why.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Lee would be like, okay, I think that the net might be here, but I honestly am not sure because we assumed that Bahamut or Tiamat was going to show up at Bakata too, and that didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
So let me talk this out with you real quick and see if you follow my logic here.
Okay.
My assumption is that the giant lobster, there's a giant lobster in the Nautical Museum that had to have something to do with the net. But during our research, I was reminded that the giant lobster was a guardian of the village and then died of natural causes and was donated. So I'm
Mhm.
actually not entirely sure if the net is there or if I'm following another false lead. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Philbin thinks about this, and he says, "I'm not really sure. It might be there. That could be, or my understanding is it's with some fishermen on the sea. That's as good as any place to start, maybe.
I
But
agree.
I do
Oh,
have an idea." And he holds up a finger, and he says, "We can't teleport using this fella in this circle because they don't have anything nearby, but we've got something that definitely came from that town." He
well.
smiles.
Oh, you mean the lobster? Great call.
He nods. He says, "We could use that as the focus and just teleport from the museum."
That's a great idea. Let's do that. We can just wait till the next day to come back.
He nods and starts walking away,
I
mounts
say,
his
yeah.
lobster.
I say, sorry. We're gonna go now. Have a nice day. I'll tip him.
How much do you tip him? What do you tip him?
I I give him a handful. I give him like 5 pieces of candy.
Okay, that's something of a tip. He takes it and just kind of holds it and looks at it.
And there's like a button in there too for some reason.
Got it. But yeah, you're able to give that to him and then continue on. Do you mount your goat or just walk with your goat?
I think we're in the city. I'm just gonna walk with my goat. It seems inappropriate to be riding on a goat in the city.
Fair enough. Philbin doesn't seem bothered at all as he is riding his lobster, just floating down.
Okay.
The side saddle, you know.
Of course, he's hanging 10.
He seems to just be enjoying it, but you can float on and walk on towards the Museum of Nautical History to hopefully make your way towards this particular town. When you do get there, they of course let you and Philbin in, and even the goat. And basically, from this lobster, he says, hopefully, because this thing is all, preserved. Hopefully, imagine.
Honestly, you would know better whether it would or not than me. But I'm gonna trust in you, Philbin, because you've never let us down before.
He shrugs, and soon enough, you uh, basically are able to, he holds out a hand. It's like, all right, let's do this. It's going to teleport you Thelma and Louise style. Do you grab on? Did I lose you?
You know what? I've been talking this entire time without pressing down on push to talk.
Ah, okay.
I
was
said
confused.
I grabbed his hand and then I also grabbed the goat's hoof.
I would expect nothing less. And he says the last whispers in ancient dwarven to the universe, and you all find yourselves deeply submerged in dark water.
Okay, that makes sense.
And Philbin begins to fly on his broom, holding you in one hand and the goat in the other, as you all come to the surface of this very salty sea.
Hell yeah.
And when you breach the surface, Philbin, shakes out a little bit and floats on the broom like a flotation device. And he says, "God damn it, I should have remembered. It's a lobster. Of course it's going to put us in."
No, that's fair. No, it's all good. It works. We got here. Thank you. That was amazing.
He shakes his head and he's like, "I should have realized that." And he looks around and he goes, "Oh, it's a town there." And he points to the shore.
Let's go. And Lee starts swimming.
Does the goat swim very well?
Really? Not particularly.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll drown, but I don't think that it's a terribly good swimmer.
I really don't think it's a good swimmer.
Oh yeah, it's not in its sea form right now. It's not a great swimmer.
Can goats swim? Okay, it's creepy for me that I typed in can and G and O, and the top question of what Google assumes I'm looking for is can goats swim? That is strange. Okay, apparently goats are incredibly good swimmers and are known to swim from island to island. Okay, good to know. No, your goat does fine.
It's an incredible mountain climber, and it's also an incredible swimmer. It's an all-terrain vehicle.
Yeah, I did not know this. Apparently, goats are very good swimmers.
Well, there's a common held belief between the naturalist YouTubers that I follow that goats are OP.
Goats are OP. So, you're able to. Do you swim separate from the goat, or do you ride the goat?
I swim separate. We're probably both very strong swimmers, so we're good.
Well, aren't you in armor?
Crap. Yes, I am.
That's somewhat inhibiting you, but Philbin is able to, offer a strong hand and help you along. And if you
I
want to
will
grab
say-
onto the goat and to Philbin, they can just drag you.
I will say that probably would help, but Lee is also an incredibly strong swimmer, having grown up on the coast.
Yeah, I know, but there's a certain point where being covered in metal is a bit inhibiting.
That's true. He doesn't normally swim in armor.
Yeah.
I don't think that would allow him to float enough.
No. You would be exhausted by the time you get in, but this way, using a being that is floating on a flying object that basically cannot sink, that is very good for buoyancy. They're able to support you, and you're able to, with the aid of your incredible long distance swimming goat, you're able to eventually start making your way towards shore. But it is a long swim.
All of our stuff is soaked.
Totally soaked. So Mollymort, Molly, sorry to switch gears so quick. Mollymort, you find a very large, boring building that you suspect is a library or a repository of some kind.
I go in.
Okay. Inside, you see racks and racks and racks of mostly nothing, and a couple of books also involved. It seems this is. Oh, go on, Mollymort.
I just said this is concerning.
Yeah, this is not a well stocked. Yeah, not well stocked at all.
I'll still ask the receptionist, the librarian.
Nope,
There's.
nobody there.
Oh my, okay. I'll have a look around.
They seem to be. Some of them are spine up. Some are spine sideways, just laying on their side. Some are piled. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or on how they are sorted at all.
Molly will just be adding to the chaos of it then, and just start pulling out a couple handfuls of books and looking through them, and then just kind of leaving them. Are there tables she could leave them on?
Yeah, there are a couple of study tables completely unoccupied.
Yeah, she'll just leave books on the table while she sorts through them.
Okay. You definitely suspect that there's a literacy in the city if this is how they handle any library. But yeah, as you look through them, you can see a variety of topics. Let me see. Actually, I think I have a list. I have a couple of them. One is the practice of evocation. Another one is really the secret of scrapbooking with friends. Journeyman fishing. There's a variety of unusual topics.
I'll grab any to do with magic and look for ones to do with Bahamut and Tiamat and
Okay. So let's see, Oromis. Are you still waiting for evening or no? That's right. You
Well,
went
I'm gonna go
outside of
down-
this. Or
Yeah.
we'll go on.
I was gonna say I was gonna take my
You went-
time up going over the plan with him with Rail.
Exactly.
Yeah, if he has any
You went out of
tips.
town with Real. So, what would you like to discuss with Rio?
Basically just a plan. How plan to use polymorph to sneak in and get as close as we can. If nobody's around, hopefully there are not many people or guards that can directly see him. Knock him out with maybe smash mouth, throw him out a window, maybe get him close to a window with the sound and just push him out.
He nods and he says, "Is the fall far enough to definitely kill him?"
That was another question I was going to ask you.
Probably not. If he lands on his head, most definitely, but it's entirely possible that he would survive it. It's only like 30 feet, which seems like it's a huge amount, but people have survived through a lot more, and you never know. Is it something you want to bet on?
And also, why are you
Okay.
using Smash Mouth for assassination purposes?
That would somewhat
Blunt object,
corrupt
throw him out
its
a window.
blunt object and throw it out a window. He says also, too, the polymorph to get you in, right?
Yeah.
Is the door going to be locked? How does the polymorph help that?
I was gonna wait till either. Well, is there? There's a door, right? So
There
yeah,
are
I was gonna
several
use
doors.
as a probably a mouse even squeeze under, wait till somebody opens the door, sneak in, rush in, scurry, whatever you want to say it is.
He nods and says, "And what do you do if he's not alone?"
Wait till he's sleeping. I don't know. I was gonna look for a
And
decent
what do you
spot to
do if he's
hide
not
from my
alone?
wife.
Yeah, he continues to say, "And what do you do if he's..." It's one thing if someone falls out of a window on accident. It's another if 2 or 3 people fall out of a window.
Only him.
I'd probably possibly cast darkness and make my move.
He says,
I
"Well,
still do have it
Like-
as a spell rather than just cantrip now.
yeah,
Ormus, take a second and make sure you're not using more than is necessary, and also that you're not doing things that are going to make it obvious that it wasn't an accident.
Yeah, because if it's up to the point where you have to cast 2 spells and wait and clear the room and then do it, like that's too much.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that Smash Mouth might be overkill for something like this.
well, a blunt object of some kind." But yeah, he listens to this
It
plan
only
and
does
he's
damage compared to the amount of force that is resistant to it. So a head,
yeah.
not too terribly hard, which isn't going to have too much resistance, might do the trick.
Well,
That's my thought process, at least.
either way, he listens and he says, "So your intention is to try and sneak in, hope that the door is opened in time, hope that he's alone, and if he's not, then to just hide yourself and still do it anyway? Why not? Why bother hiding if you don't need it to be an accident anymore?"
I mean,
Because
it needs to be an
And he says,
that's the thing.
"Yeah, but if you cast darkness and there's other people there, they're going to wonder where the dark from and why it suddenly went away. It's going to be more suspicious than just an accident."
Yeah, intelligence gathering.
Yeah, this is why I'm asking. Like, I don't want to have to, like,
Yeah.
that moment.
He says that there seems like there's a lot left up to chance. And he says, "In my experience," and he says that, and the drow do have very complex experiences. Um, he says that you don't want to leave anything up to chance. You want it so that the only thing left to do is to simply do it. If you don't know if he's going to be alone, and he has to be alone, then that's not going to work unless you can wait until he's alone. In which case, how long does your polymorph last?
An hour. Okay, so
He shakes his head.
the point of the door. I have somebody who might be able to keep a door or a window slightly open for me to get through, but I'd have to talk to them first, and they'd be okay with it. I know that for sure. The part about being alone, I can probably possibly see if they can help with that as well.
He says that
But I'd have to.
he says that while you can certainly trust me, my friend, the more people you bring in on something like this, the less you can always trust them.
it's the person who brought us to this. That's
He says, the benefactor.
Yeah.
He says that also, in my experience, if you want there to be an accident, and the benefactor is requesting it specifically be an accident, that generally you don't want the benefactor anywhere near them to remove the issue of suspicion, but not so far away that it becomes suspicious.
Okay, fair point.
Yeah, he basically, continues to go on of talking about various times that I remember I had to create an accident with one of the cousins of the queen, and he just basically talks on and on. But essentially, he makes it very clear removing unknowns is important, and the more that is left up to chance, the more you should expect will go wrong.
You know, it kind of sounds like Real has this. Why don't we just let him take care of it?
I wish I could.
Oh, you definitely can.
I don't really want him too far away from us, given the stature of who he is and what we did to him.
Well, I mean, there's nothing he can do until. Well, I'm not in character voice. There's nothing he can do outside of Drow society. Like, he's been exiled. There's no. You know.
Surely he has no plans for revenge.
Oh, I'm sure he does, but.
I just think
Yeah.
we might be overcomplicating things.
Quite possibly. Do you have any further questions for him, Ormus?
Not entirely, but I would have to go and talk to our benefactor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd probably let Fion and Molly know of this. See how they feel about it.
He says, from your description of his room and from his gluttonous behavior, it's entirely possible that perhaps poison, as put from a jealous wife, maybe framed the queen, take two birds with one stone. He looks at you.
That it's possible. It's just no.
Hey, we want to turn
She
against
seems
the
sweet
queen
enough. I wouldn't
too?
want
I thought we were trying to help the queen.
He doesn't
to.
know.
No.
He doesn't know who the
Yeah,
queen
no, he
is.
doesn't know.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
doesn't know.
He just knows that I have a benefactor that can possibly help sway things in our favor. I didn't say anything about who it is.
I know how to kill him. I figured it out.
We'll get to that in a moment, Lee. But Ormus, you just say, what do you say in response to that? Just like, oh well, we'll think about it.
No, it's like that is an idea, but I have actually talked with the queen, and she seems sweet enough. The king may be a douchebag, but the queen deserves none of that.
He nods and he winks and he says, I hear you.
No, but seriously, don't kill the queen, though.
I'm not.
So I'm curious, Lee, you have an idea?
This is how I would kill somebody. I would just encourage them to partake in risky behavior. You know, like excessive gambling, binge eating, and maybe get them peer pressure them to take up smoking.
It'll just happen eventually.
It'll happen on its own. Just it'll take care of itself.
Alcohol poisoning is
Encourage
thing,
them to have a really unhealthy lifestyle. Be like, oh, you want to go for a walk? Why don't we sit here and eat steak and watch this play?
Yeah. But it is entirely possible that alcohol poisoning is a possibility. He does seem to drink a bit. That's another thought that you could have, Ormus, for sure. Another plausible possibility, I should say. So, Fion, you essentially just hanging out with Arini and with the currently occupied host of Bahamut.
Yes.
Just wait until nightfall.
Yeah, waiting for Oromis and Real. Okay, I have to look at the fucking paper that I have all their names on. I'll remember eventually.
Yeah, I know the feeling. But yeah, if you just continue to wait for them, that's perfectly fine. So Mollymort, as you're looking around, you can see that there are a lot of very basic, a couple of magic books, a couple of books on alchemy, a lot of cooking recipes. You're not sure what that's about. You find one that kind of gives you shivers, and it looks like a really thick tome called 50 Shades of Fey, and you wonder how two people could make the same pun in the same universe. But I know, right? I swear, I went to dndspeak.com, went to random book generator, and the very first one was 50 Shades of Fey. It is what it
the
is.
other from another universe.
Well,
This is more based on Faerun, and the other one was obviously based off of Greyhawk.
exactly. But it's just strange that they would have the same pun sort of structure.
I mean, infinite ships and infinite rooms.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
from all universes.
Exactly.
Make
You
another
wait long
one,
enough.
50 Rays of Beige.
Exactly.
You put
You
them
wait
in
long enough.
in a
It's gonna
dungeon.
keep happening. But anyway, you find several things there, Mollymore. But what you don't find is anything that would have the draconic sort of history or stories. It's a bit strange. Although it might occur to you that you know someone who is in the court, a particular blue dragon, that would almost certainly have some records of draconic past and history and story, and he'd probably be quite happy to share them with
I guess I could just ask the Dragonborn or something, but I was hoping to get a proper book on.
Well, yes, but what I'm saying is that it's entirely possible that there are books of dragon history, but it's likely that they were written by dragons, and you know at least one dragon in the city.
Yeah, I think I know a few dragons in the city. Or are you talking about Jacob?
Uh, well, Jacob is merely a dragonborn, but you know Thrubane is an actual dragon that represents the Court of Hope. He's the only one you've met that you know for sure is a dragon. Dragons, well, besides, of course, Arena. Or no, not Arena. My goodness, I completely forgot her name. Help me, people.
Mika?
Already.
Neither of those is correct. Alondria.
There we go.
Alondria being the other dragon that you've met.
Ice Dragon, yeah.
There's too many names. There's too many names. What have I done? But yeah, you know
Who is
that.
Melvin's girlfriend?
Yes, Philbin's girlfriend. But besides Alondria, Thrubane is the only other that you've met that you know is a dragon. Unfortunately, dragons are rather disguised, and you don't really know. But if you're looking for someone that has a book on draconic history, Thrubane is pretty high unlikely as to who would have such a book.
Yeah, I don't want to go and hit up Alondria right now.
Bit of a walk.
I don't want to go to Thrubane either, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll just try to relate to her what I know about all this.
Okay. Do you want to make a history check or a performance check to see how much you remember or how well you can keep her attention while you tell this long story?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a history check. Hold on.
Sure.
Maybe you could use the Philbish Bible to aid you.
Yeah. It covers all the way up until this very short period of time.
But it covers some information referencing certain things.
Some.
It doesn't have exactly what you guys are looking for, but it references some small details.
You were saying, Mollymort?
I said not great. My roll it's 13.
You get the gist of it. There's a dragon god up there, and he had some kids. Two, no wait, three. And then one of them killed the other one. And it was, very. You get the broad strokes of it, and she listens along.
Yeah, history says that Tiamat killed no. History one was supposed to have killed the other, but it went the other way. But Bahamut really didn't die. He's actually just his body died, but he got his soul out of his body first.
She nods.
I'm sorry, just history isn't right, but um, that doesn't mean it should be just not a book. And I just sit down and just grumpily read one of the history, not history, science books no, magic books I picked up.
Okay. They go over very, very basic spells. Like it goes over, like 1,001 uses for prestidigitation. Just like it's nothing really good. They're not really full spell books. They're more. It's again. It's like imagine a cookbook but for magic. Like it's just casual. It's like an idiot's guide to magic, but of various different schools. And they're rather incomplete, and for some of it's wrong.
Yeah, like I said, yeah. But she just is trying to get her thoughts together, but she's not succeeding. So she just reads for a little bit, then was like, okay, it's getting late. I guess we should go back to Mika's place and see what we can do. Wait, no, we're going to go see the heart. I'm sorry, my head just is not in the right place. There's so much going on.
She says, "That's okay. I think you wanted to wait till it was dark to go see the heart. Something about sneaking in."
We're supposed to be discreet about that.
Yeah. Uh, let's see. You're able. If do you want to head back to Arenas then?
Yeah, just until sundown.
Okay. And Ormus, do you also go back to Arenas or someplace else?
I'm gonna go to Arini and see if she can't get me an audience with the Queen alone.
She says that should be arranged. Yeah, she says that can be arranged.
All right, awesome. And one more thing, guys. I just remembered this for some reason. Phantasmal Killer. I forgot I have that spell given to me through my levels of Warlock. I can just make him go look like he went insane. I don't have to fucking hit anybody or nothing. Just cast a spell and make it look like he went crazy.
The fuck?
I fucking forgot about it. I talked to Molly about it like very briefly.
Yeah.
Brought the idea up and.
I don't actually know how the spell works.
So you tap in. Yeah, you tap into the nightmares of a creature within range and create an illusory manifestation of its deepest fears. The target can make a wisdom saving throw, and on a failed save, becomes frightened. And at the end of each of the turns, before the spell ends, which it can last for up to a minute, the target must continue to save on wisdom throws or wisdom saving throws, excuse me, or take 4d10 psychic damage.
Dang.
Or in my case, yeah, 5d10 since I'm
Or
double casting.
Yeah, or 5d10 in your case.
And if we get him drunk enough, does that hinder wisdom saving throws?
I don't know. Want to find out?
I think it does. I think it hinders intelligence.
You guys are talking about Phantasmal Killer. I just got back.
Yeah.
All right, nice. It's the only attack I have set up on my bard.
That's good spell. I completely fucking forget I have it.
Well, my bard's whole thing is that they don't like actively like combat. They just show illusions and shit because they're fey-based.
That's certainly reasonable. Arini will leave with Ormus to get you an audience with the Queen, and Mollymore, you can show up at Arini's house. basically right around sunset, and roughly at the same time, Lee and Philbin can enjoy watching a sunset on the beach as they get to it exhausted and soaked. After several hours, everyone's sort of accomplishing something. But now that it is dark, or darkening at least, Mollymort, Fion, what would you like to do? You're at Irini's house. Irini's not here, but yeah.
I'm just following Oromis.
Yeah,
Fair.
same.
All right. Do you bring anyone else, or is it just the three of you?
I imagine we'd bring Zach.
Bring who?
Or Real. I know his whole name is
Okay.
Zach Realkoff, so.
It's fine. Yeah, so you can bring Real and leave the Necromancer.
Well, are we just going
Leave her to her own devices.
You could bring the Necromancer to show the heart.
True enough. I mean, do you guys think that would be a good thing to do?
I mean, we have intentions of doing that, but I don't know if we're going to kill the king right now.
I mean, it would be good to just show her.
All right. So everyone
Would be
goes.
a good idea. She's gonna have to see it eventually.
Yeah, so basically everyone goes, and as you approach, Irini goes up to one of the guards and says, while motioning to Real and Zilra, that these are some foreign dignitaries from far off lands, and they would like to meet with the queen, and basically escorting you by and giving that story. And she takes you up through these spiraling stairs, the wide spiraling stairs as they go around the circle on the outside of this large castle, and takes you soon to the chambers of the queen. And she basically motions for you all to wait while she goes in and tells the queen, etc., to that you'll be there. And soon enough, that she opens the door and invites you all in to meet with and the queen asks if she would be so kind as to wait outside at the door and make sure that you all are not disturbed. And Irini does so and goes outside.
Okay,
I
hey.
did stay alone, didn't I?
Well, unfortunately, everyone else came with you.
Okay. Well,
You could have. Do you want to
open up
convince
the
them to not go?
and then I'll wait.
Yeah.
No, they can come, and then once their business is done, I can just kind of stay back and then be like, okay, so.
Well, you're all here, so what would you all like to do?
Okay, hello. So first of all, I don't know if I don't remember if we've told you about Morningstar, but we thought they were going to invade Bakata and attack with Tiamat, but they turned around, and we think they're coming to Hope now, so that's worth you knowing.
She nods, says, "All right." Do you know how long that it'll be?
I look over at everyone else.
Couple of months, probably.
Yeah, excuse me while I die. Yeah, probably, I would say a month or two.
If not longer. Yeah. She nods and says, "All right." Do you know how many?
We don't know how many of Morningstar, but we believe Tiamat will be accompanying them. So that's dangerous.
She takes in a deep breath and nods.
It's a large fleet, we know that much.
She says thousands or tens of thousands.
Heck if
How
I
many ships I think they got, right?
You know that it's probably tens of thousands of individuals.
Yeah.
Hundreds of ships.
Oh, hundreds of. Okay. I thought it was fucking thousands of ships.
No, it's hundreds of ships, which is still pretty substantial. And tens of thousands of individuals.
That's okay. They got a dragon.
So, well, I mean, they have a dragon too. But yeah, she listens to this and nods. She says, "Well, thank you for telling me."
This isn't of much importance, but we know Thrubane is a dragon. Are you a dragon too?
And she shakes her head. She says, "Nope, good old-fashioned human."
Good to know. Okay.
Just the way we like it.
Also, we would like to know. I look at Oromis. Who is in on? We're alone, right? Even alone from the king.
If you could ever really be alone in a castle like this.
Who is in on what certain events will be happening soon? I swear it's soon. Okay, we're working on
She kind of tilts her head a little bit on the invasion or on the thing with
the other
the
thing.
statue
that.
for Bahamut.
No.
The thing Bahamut doesn't need to know.
Oh, by the way,
Ah,
Bahamut or um uh 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 we
Mika.
have a new friend. Her name is Mika.
she says, "Yes, I'm aware. I've heard."
Good.
And she says, "But of the project that Mika should not know about."
Yes, that one.
She
Working on that.
she whispers that, and she says, "Good. Do you know when?"
Very soon.
You know
We'll
what?
talk
She
to
holds up
you.
a hand and she says, "You know what? I don't want to know. It would be better if I don't know. That way, my surprise would be genuine."
Uh,
Well, we were kind of wondering who else knows that that surprise is gonna happen.
And she says, "I don't know who I can trust. So it's basically you all for the most part."
Okay, so it's gonna be a big surprise.
She nods and she says, "I hope it will be."
Okay, that may make it harder to keep secret. Um,
She
but
says, "That's the very opposite of the way that secrets work in my history, but usually the more people you tell, the worse it's kept."
Are you guys planning a surprise party or a murder?
Both.
Fair enough.
a surprise birthday party.
Yep. She nods and she says, "Will there be anything else? Or did you need something?"
let's just call that plan the birthday.
Hang on a second, Molly Mort. It sounded like you were underneath a bridge. Could you repeat that?
I said maybe we could call that plan the birthday.
Yes, the surprise party, perhaps.
Yeah, there we go. Communicate.
So,
Okay, that's
what
pretty much all.
what more could you need for my surprise party?
Well, we need to get the king very drunk for the surprise. That's sure.
She rolls her eyes and she says, "That won't be very difficult."
Indeed. And well, fresh air. Fresh air would be nice when the king is very drunk.
She nods.
I
That
don't.
might be it.
I don't. Yeah.
Hang
Yeah,
on,
I'm just getting
hang
paid.
on. Your mic's crazy again, Molly Mort. Why?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And there, it's crystal clear.
I moved my arm.
Happens when I have a swear.
No clue, but it's working now.
Okay. Anyways, I don't want to spoil too much, so maybe we should get going and work on that.
Yes, you should.
She nods.
Okay, bye. And I turn around and start walking away.
She waves.
I'm gonna slowly walk and then just wait for everybody to be out the door and turn around and close the door.
Does everyone else leave? One of the drow will, or rather, the necromancer will follow Mollymort. The other drow just kind of look to wherever Fion and Oromis tell him to go.
I don't feel like Fion would leave the room, would want to, like, he would. So I can see that Juan is gone, but eat something to indicate that nothing weird is going on.
Well, I just need to talk to her about the birthday party.
I mean,
You're also in on the birthday party. Why are you asking? Why would he be asking you to leave?
yeah, exactly. That's what we're guests
Kinda
to
waiting for
the
the
party.
Yeah, but the drows aren't.
I mean, I just
If you want to stay, you're more than welcome. I just was waiting for those two to be out of the room.
Rio will step out. So Molly Morton, the drow, and Arini are leaving Fion and Ormus in the side. And Arini asks you, Molly Mort, why are they still in there?
I don't know. They'll catch up. Don't worry about it. Let's go check out the heart.
She nods and says, "Oh, all right," and begins to lead the way to the secret door to get to the bunker beneath the castles. So you two are still in the room with the queen. Queen looks to you all and says, "Was there something else?"
Well, as soon as the door was gonna be closed, I was gonna like kind of quietly be like, "All right, this won't take long." What I meant by fresh air, just open the door when he's super drunk, and I'll get it done. Walk out.
Do what?
I'm just gonna tell her that basically when he's really drunk and kind of alone, just open up the window. If she wants to leave, she can go to the bathroom or something, get more wine, and then I can get the job done.
She says that she doesn't spend much time with him, but I guess, she'll keep that in mind.
I don't think it's
before
a
bed
good
or
idea
something.
for her to be there at all.
Well,
They'll
don't
put
they share
something on
quarters?
her.
But yeah, she'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, like I don't know about that.
They don't share quarters.
No. You're in her quarters right now.
Okay. What time does he go to bed?
She says whenever he passes out or feels like going to sleep or has enough horrors to facilitate going to another platform.
Okay. Okay. Just curious.
Just get him to drink himself to death. Ooh, I've got a great idea. You just send in somebody. Send in Maark, and just have him hang out with Maark for a really long time, and he'll drink himself to death.
Or Maark will kill him.
Or Maark will kill him. Yeah,
Tell him to lay
maybe by accident.
All right. But yeah,
Okay. Yes. Needed to know that. Thank you.
thank
I'm
you.
not gonna spare her any details so she doesn't know. I thought that they freaking slept together, so
Nope.
I didn't think it was that old fashioned.
Well, no, it's not old fashioned. She's just, they don't like each other.
No.
I mean,
No,
you've been
I
in
mean
his
like
quarters before, and he
intimacy
was.
type shit.
Well, no, I mean, you've been in his quarters before. You're now in her quarters here. They do not like each other.
Understandably too. He's a douchebag.
Yeah,
Okay.
but basically, Molly Mort, as you and the two drow are led into the secret passage, and she, lights a torch to make her way down and lead you all towards to the to the basement where the heart is. You can see it right there in front of you. A little dusty, but basically untouched. Looking more just like a rock.
Okay, so it doesn't look like much right now, but this is it.
Zora approaches it and runs her fingers over it and kind of picks at various parts of it with her nails a little bit, sniffs it, gives it a little taste lick. Interesting. Then she
Uh,
just knocks on it,
Let me Bahamut
listens,
That'd be weird.
just doing all kinds of things.
I'm gonna pass her over the eye of a shot. Look through this at it. Then you'll be able to see the magic.
She takes this thing and looks at it really far away and then brings it close to her eye, and you can see like her jaw drops and she goes, wow, this is something. And
Well,
she's just looking at the pendant and then brings it back up at her eye and looks at it again and then looks at the pendant and she says, this is, yeah, I don't know what this is. It's just glowing. What does that mean?
that's all the magic.
I see. And she brings it up again and she looks through it again and she says, that seems like quite a bit of magic. I mean, except for this part right here, but it seems like a lot of magic.
Yeah, that's where Aladrin hid it.
Ah, I will try not to do that then.
I think it would be okay if you hid it, but he's Aladrin. You don't want him hitting things that are, you know.
Fragile.
That are what? Finish, Molly Mort?
You don't want him hitting things that you want.
All right. Immediately flash to Aladrin hammering on the side of a ship, just basically trying to put boards up and knee deep in water, going, what the hell am I doing here? All right. So I guess we can pick this up next week, figure out what Aladrin is up to and how it's going.
Catching ships and living the life.
So we got Lee and Philbin having an interesting moment on a beach, looking at a sunset as they just bask in the, well, frankly, the very chilliness, just soaked and frozen. Um, Oromis and Fion are hanging out in the hallway out in front of the Queen's quarters late at night. Well, not so much late, but a little bit after sunset. And Molly Mort and everyone else is in the basement looking at the heart, and Aladrin is somewhere on the muddy sea, chasing down a fleet of dwarves. So, everyone good for next week?
Yeah, it should be.
That'd
Yeah.
be good.
Y'all are spread to the four winds. This will be interesting. All right.
Never party except when you do.
Yeah, I know. If I know anything about,
Rule number one.
y'all are in whole different. Well, the good news is you are all in the same time zone, so that helps a little bit. You're just in a straight line. Some of you in the far north, some of you are as far south as this party's ever been. And then one's just in the middle, just sailing around.
Chilling. Straight chilling.
Okay, well, till next week, folks. I guess.
You guys have fun.
All right. Adios.